Consecutive integer problems. Integers are positive and negative whole numbers and 0. Remember that our positive numbers go to the right, our negative numbers go to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. Our integers, -1, -2, -3, -4, etc. plus 0. When we talk about consecutive integers, we're talking about numbers that are one number apart. If I asked you to count in English from the number 1, you would say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I asked you to count in algebra, you would say x, x plus 1, x plus 2, x plus 3. If I asked you to count even numbers in English, you would say 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Those are two numbers apart. So if I asked you to count in algebra, you'd have to say x, x plus 2, x plus 4, x plus 6. The tricky part is when we talk about those odd numbers. If I asked you to count in English, you would say 1, 3, 5. They're also two numbers apart. So even though we're talking about odd numbers in algebra, if we start with x and assume it's odd, the next odd number is 2 away, so it's x plus 2, then x plus 4. We're going to take a look at a few examples to help clear this all up for you now. Our first example says to find 3 consecutive integers whose sum is 36. Since I need to find 3 consecutive integers, I have the first one, the second one, and the third one. We're going to look at it in this way. The first one, since we're counting in algebra, is x. We're talking about consecutive integers right in a row. So our second one is x plus 1. Our third one is x plus 2. So these are our 3 consecutive integers. Their sum is 36, which means we have to add them up. So when I add these up, I have 1x, 2x, 3x plus 3. If you don't like adding vertically, remember you can write this as x, there's my first number, plus x plus 1, there's my second number, plus x plus 2, there's my third number. Remember, either way, it equals 36. And when you write it this way, you now have to group your like terms. 1x, 2x, 3x. 1 plus 2 is 3. Both ways end up with the same equation. I'm going to continue from here. If I subtract 3 from both sides, that gives me 3x equals 33. When I divide both sides of my equation by 3, x equals 11. That's just my first number. So let's go back up here to my first, second, and third numbers. If my first number is 11, 11 plus 1, think about it that way, 11 plus 1 is 12. 11 plus 2 is 13. 11, 12, 13 are consecutive integers. If I want to check it, do 11, 12, and 13 add up to 36? 11, 12 plus 13 adds up to 36. So I have found 3 consecutive integers whose sum is 36. Let's look at a second example. Find 4 consecutive even integers that equal 92. A key word here is even. Sometimes we read too quickly and miss that, but it will definitely change the problem. Another word we have to look out for is the word 4. Last time we found 3 consecutive integers. Now we would like 4 consecutive even integers. Since we want 4, we have the first, the second, the third, and the fourth. We have to make room for all of them. The first one is x because we don't know where we're starting. But we're counting even numbers. And if you think in English, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, even numbers differ by 2. So our even numbers in algebra must also differ by 2. So our first one is x, our second one x plus 2, then x plus 4, then x plus 6. And all together, they must equal 92. So when I add them up, 1, 2, 3, 4 x's, 2 plus 4 is 6, plus 6 more is 12. That has to equal 92. Remember, if you do not like writing this vertically, you can write it horizontally. Our first number was x. Our second number was x plus 2. Our third number, x plus 4. And our fourth number, x plus 6. And it all has to equal 92. I would circle the x's to make sure I didn't miss any. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4 x's plus 2 and 4 is 6 and 6 more is 12 equals 92. Either way you write this problem, you get the same equation. The longer these numbers become, the longer this will be. Sometimes it saves space to write it vertically. If we have 4x plus 12 equals 92, we can subtract 12 from both sides. That gives me 4x equals 80. When I divide both sides of the equation by 4, x equals 20. But remember, that's only my first number. And I'm looking for even numbers. 20 is even. Had this come out to be an odd number, there would have been no solution to this problem. But we got an even number. That's good news. And our first number is 20. We now want to count even numbers from 20. 20 plus 2 is 22. 24. 26. Because 20 plus 2 is 22. 20 plus 4 is 24. 20 plus 6 is 26. So our 4 consecutive even numbers are 20, 22, 24, 26. Double checking, take those 4 numbers on the side, add them up, and see if you get 92. 2 plus 4 is 6, and 6 is 12. 1 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 is 9. We get 92. We have correctly found 4 consecutive even integers that equal 92. Let's try one more example. Find 3 consecutive odd integers that have a sum of negative 45. Once again, we have odd, we have 3. Those are our first 2 key words we have to worry about. Our first number, our second, and our third. At this point, I think we have all figured out that we're always going to start with our letter x. But now we have to count odd integers. Most students want to start off with an x plus 1 and an x plus 3. But let me caution you. I want you to think of any odd number right now. Pick an odd number in your head and think of the next odd number. Aren't they 2 apart? If they are, then you have to say, if this is odd, to get to the next odd number, you still have to add 2. And to get to the odd number after that, you'd have to add 4. So whether this says even or odd, you're still adding x plus 2, x plus 4, x plus 6, all the way down the line. Now, a sum means I have to add them up. 1, 2, 3x plus 6 equals negative 45. Once again, you can write this problem vertically, or you can write it horizontally. X plus x plus 2 plus x plus 4 equals negative 45. I have 3 x's plus the 6. I get the same equation. Either way I write it. Let's solve this equation. Subtracting 6 from both sides, I get 3x equals negative 51. Remember, two negatives, we add and keep the negative sign. Dividing by 3, x equals negative 17. That's an odd number. We're looking for odd numbers. That's good. Remember, if you're looking for odd and your answer was even, there'd be no solution. Since x is negative 17, you now say how much is negative 17 plus positive 2? That's negative 15. And negative 17 plus 4 is negative 13. And if I had asked you to count negative odd numbers from negative 17 going in the larger direction, negative 17, negative 15, negative 13 is what you would count. So we have found 3 odd integers. Let's check to see if it really adds up to negative 45. Negative 17, negative 15, negative 13. When we're adding negatives, the answer stays negative. 7 and 5 is 12, and 3 is 5. Carry the 1. We get negative 45. So even though this is a very tricky problem, we remembered the odd numbers still differ by 2. We needed 3 of them. We counted in the correct direction, and we checked our work. So negative 17, negative 15, and negative 13 have a sum of negative 45.
Please pause the video now and complete the problems in your workbook. When finished, press play, and we'll continue with the next lesson.